Good afternoon, ladies, gents and Pikachus. It's been a little while, hasn't it? So, someone asked me a question 3 or 4 days ago, and it just took me so long to be able to answer it properly. The question was, why is war necessary? And I thought to myself, I don't know, but I know that it is necessary because it says so in my Bible, and my own 2 eyes show me that war has always been there and will always be there as long as we shall live. As long as there's humanity, there will be war. But why is it necessary when everybody, most people anyway, want peace? I think I figured it out. So I'm going to use a simile to explain to you why war is necessary, and that simile is a garden. It's out of the Bible. We know the Garden of Eden is a walled garden, and man's first task that he is set by God is keep the walled garden so that thy generations can prosper, and there can be many. So God's first instruction to Adam and Eve is, you can enjoy yourselves on the earth in the Garden of Eden. All you got to do is keep the place nice and safe for your children, so they can have children, so they can have children. That's the point. So we're going to use a garden. Now, if you've got a garden, you'll know the bane of every garden-enjoying human being is a stingy nettle. What's a stingy nettle? A stingy nettle is a weed that grows out the ground and then grows leaves, and if you touch the stem or the leaves, it will sting you. You won't enjoy being stung. It hurts. It causes you pain. It causes you grief. So at first you'll go, well, I'm just going to ignore that stingy nettle. I'm going to leave him alone over there. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to just get on with my life without the stingy nettle anywhere near me. Then a couple of months later, you got 2 stingy nettles. 20 stingy nettles. Your whole garden is beset by stingy nettles and you can no longer use your garden. Well, you can't, because if you sit down near a stinging nettle, it will sting you. And if the stinging nettle could talk, guess what it would say? It would say, I was here first. My whole family live here. We've always lived here. Get out my garden. I'm not doing you any harm. You're an occupier. You want to genocide me. That's what the stinging nettle would say. Nonetheless, it's your garden. You live there. It's a stinging nettle. It doesn't produce any fruit. It's not doing anything apart from stinging people that go near to it. And like we have already observed, if you just ignore it, it doesn't go away. It doesn't stay in its corner. It spreads. So you'll have 20, 30, 50, 100 stinging nettles. Bigger and bigger and bigger they will grow. Stingier and stingier will become the leaves. And you can either pluck all those stinging nettles out and get rid of them, or you can leave. And that is why war is necessary. Because we live in a society where, if we use the analogy of plants, we are all different kinds of plants. We will have different kinds of fruit. And the way that we can ensure that our fruit drops to the ground and grows into more plants is by offering a fruit which is tasty and nutritious and doesn't sting. Then nobody will want to get rid of you. In fact, if your fruit's nice and tasty and beneficial to others, people will want to plant your fruit, i.e. they will want your children there and their children there, and then you will become a culture, a nation. You know, you'll have a brand loyalty to the other people there, because you will all be coming off the same plant, and your fruit will be well known, not to be stingy, but to be good. The fruits of your vine are good, not stingy. So back to the stinging nettle in terms of war. Why is war necessary? Well, we know. The stinging nettle's not going to remove itself. If there are stinging nettles there, your vine cannot grow. The stinging nettle is going to suck all the nutrients out of the surrounding soil, dominate all the space by growing itself into a million different stinging nettles, and after a while, it's going to be pushing you into a little corner. When you try and remove it, it's going to go, don't remove me, you apartheid state genociding occupier. You're evil. Isn't it? Like we said, if a stinging nettle could talk, that's what it would do. And in terms of war, stinging nettles are warlike, barbaric cultures from the Dark Ages based on cult-like religions, i.e. Islam. Sorry Muslims, it's just a fact. So that is the reason we have war. Not because we want it, but because we are beset by stinging nettles who want to grow into all of our gardens, dominate all the resources so they can suck them up and make more stingy nettles. And we just can't live alongside them because they sting, 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 sting. I mean, think about it. If you're sat in a garden and you're surrounded by stinging nettles, even before you've touched one and felt the sting of it, you've got to watch where you tread. You can't have a little kid running around because he'll touch one of them. It's not a safe environment. Plus, there's no nutrients in the soil, so you're not going to have any plants. You're only going to have stingy nettles, which, as we've gone through, are flipping useless. Nobody wants those. So why is war necessary? Because somebody has to not only pluck the stinging nettles. You know, if you pluck all the leaves off, you might get rid of them for a few weeks, but sooner or later, another stinging nettle will appear. And before you know it, you've got 1,000,000 more stingy nettles. So the way to get rid of a stingy nettle is to uproot the thing. Now, the roots don't offer a sting, weirdly enough. You can't see the roots, they're buried in the ground, where it's tough to pull them out. And they know that they have to do that in order to get those nutrients. They have to have those roots. The roots need to be hidden and not stingy, because otherwise creatures will get rid of them. That's what happens in nature. That's why animals like to eat plant tops, but not many animals want to eat the roots, because you have to dig to get to the root, and by the time you get the nutrients out of the root, you've already expended more than enough energy to make eating that plant completely pointless. So what would you do? You wouldn't say, I'm just going to pull out one root at a time, because it will just spring out a load more stingy nettles. You say, I'm going to go out with a campaign to remove all the roots. I'm going to return this garden to a nice peaceful state so that my kids can play on it without getting stung. Then I can plant my vine. That is why war is necessary. Most of the world wants to plant a fruitful vine which hasn't got any sting to it, which can support other plants near it, and then birds and bees and other creatures will enjoy these, and they'll come along and they'll play, and nobody will worry about their kids getting stung or eating something that's going to poison them. It's a safety feature, and we know, even though you can't completely get rid of stingy nettles, that's something only God can do. In order to make our patch safe so that we can grow our vine, we need to physically get rid of these stingy nettles when they encroach on our patch. And brothers and sisters, let me be the first to tell you, we are at the stage in our human history where once again the stinging nettles of Islam are encroaching on our patch, and we can see from the way they behave in their own countries, how they treat their own neighbours, even the people they live right next to. These are not fruitful vines. They're not going to live next door to anyone. And we know because we have their book, the Quran of the Muslims. The Quran of the Muslims! Oh, I haven't done that for a while. So anyone who's read this book will know the stinging nettle of Islam, although the leaves are the stingy bit, you know, the Muslims or the countries that want to go to war with you, that think we're disgusting, born of evil souls, that we stole our land from Allah. It's Allah's bounty. You know, we stole it from them even though we didn't. That's what they think. And because we don't believe this, we are at war with them. That's also what they think. That's in here. So they're going to keep spreading out until they reach us. They're going to push us into a corner with the sting, sting, sting. And eventually, we will have to leave. And then you think, well, how long can I keep travelling around for? Being a nomadic culture, you know, kind of like the Hebrews were. How long can you keep travelling away from the stingy nettles until you reach the point where everything is covered in stingy nettles and there is no nutrients in any soil anywhere, there's no space, and at that point, everything dies because you can't eat stingy nettles, nothing else is going to grow there, there's no space anywhere, and the stingy nettles are now going to start trying to eat you because there's so many of them, there isn't any nutrients left. That's what's happening in Israel. The Arabic countries with the Muslims in have recognised when their oil runs out, which is going to be fairly soon in the great scheme of things, they will have no money. At which point they will be beholden to the West, because guess what? We actually export things. We have produce. We grow things, including technology. We have scriptures, books that we sell. We have great minds that we send abroad. And we have a free economy and a democracy which encourages this kind of fruit to be growing. Plus we have a nice peaceful land which allows it. They don't. They have stingy nettle, stingy nettle, stingy nettle, and if you're not stingy nettle, whoosh, off with your head, you're dead, you're going to hell, because Allah has said so. So in conclusion, is war necessary? Yes, unfortunately. Is it necessary because of us? No. We would be quite happy to live alongside people as long as they didn't want to kill us and lie about it, call us occupiers just because we want to get rid of some stingy nettles who have grown onto us and are now stinging us. Is getting rid of the physical leaves going to get rid of the problem of stingy nettles? No. For that we need to get rid of the root, which is this, the book of Satan, or Allah, the Quran of the Muslims. But until that happens, we just need to clear out as many weeds and stinging nettles from our own patch as we can, so that we can go and enjoy our garden and have our kids run around and eat the fruit without having any danger of death. Which unfortunately for Israel is the point they have now reached, where they cannot enjoy their own patch because they've been encroached with stingy nettles which bear no fruit and will harm them and their children. And just like we said with the stingy nettles, what would they say if you were pulling them out? The stingy nettles are saying, "You gardeners are all genociders, you're occupiers, you have no right." But the difference is, these people are not plants. They do have free will choice to not behave in this way. They don't have to take hostages, they don't have to be rapists and perverts, they don't have to be murderers, they don't have to create false accusations against the Jews, the Christians, or anyone. The reason they do it is because if they do not worship Allah and do the commands that he has told them to do in this book, which is that, then they will get no virgins and they will not go to paradise. So they have to do this, otherwise, whoosh, off with your head, you're dead. That's the reason we have war. And the reason it's necessary is because they are bringing it to us. If we don't have it, we die. Nettles cover everything, all the nutrients disappear, humanity is done. Is that what you want? Is it worth diversity in order that everyone eventually dies and has a big war beforehand? Because that's what this kind of diversity is. This is not diversity. This is a diversity of ways to eliminate this entire species and ruin the entire planet through a method of war set by Satan, who is Allah. And until everyone realises this, war is still going to be necessary. But the day these guys change their track and stop looking for wars with us, stop pretending that we are born of evil souls and that our land was stolen off them because Allah told them, the second they stop doing that, they will stop being a stingy nettle and they will produce fruit. They will all, be as rich and wealthy and, technologically sound, culturally sound, educated as Westerners. But you know what? They're never going to do that. So war is necessary, and that is the end of this video. So I'm going to bed now. Hope you enjoyed that and you learned something. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. And you know what? This is the easiest ever end to a video, because if you want proof for this being true, just look around your community, look around your country, look on the news, look at the world, and you will know. So that's the end of this video. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!